You, like I mentioned with SpaceX, you give a lot of people hope, and a lot of people look up to you. Millions of people look up to you. If we think about young people in high school, maybe in college, what advice would you give to them about if they want to try to do something big in this world, they want to really have a big positive impact? What advice would you give them about their career, maybe about life in general?
Try to be useful. Um, do things that are useful to your fellow human beings, to the world. It's very hard to be useful. Um, very hard. Are you contributing more than you consume? Like, can you try to have a positive net contribution to society? Um, I think that's the thing to aim for. Not to try to be sort of a leader just for the sake of being a leader or whatever. A lot of the time, a lot of times the people you want as leaders are the people who don't want to be leaders. So, um, if you can live a useful life, that is a good life, a life worth having lived. Um, and like I said, I would encourage people to use the mental tools of physics and apply them broadly in life. They are the best tools.
When you think about education and self-education, what do you recommend? So there's the university, there's self-study, there is hands-on sort of finding a company or a place or a set of people that do the thing you're passionate about and joining them as early as possible. Um, there's taking a road trip across Europe for a few years and writing some poetry. Which trajectory do you suggest? In terms of learning about how you can become useful, as you mentioned, how you can have the most positive impact.
But I'd encourage people to read a lot of books. Just read, basically try to ingest as much information as you can, uh, and try to also just develop a good general knowledge. Um, so, so you at least have like a rough lay of the land of the knowledge landscape. Like try to learn a little bit about a lot of things. Because you might not know what you're really interested in. How would you know what you're really interested in if you at least aren't like doing a peripheral exploration of broadly of the knowledge landscape? Um, and you talk to people from different walks of life and different industries and professions and skills and occupations. Like just try learn as much as possible. Man, search for meaning.
Isn't the whole thing a search for meaning? Is
Yeah, what's the meaning of life and all, But just generally, like I said, I would encourage people to read broadly, in many different subject areas, and then try to find something where there's an overlap of your talents and what you're interested in. So people may be good at something, or they may have skill at a particular thing, but they don't like doing it.
Mhm.
So you want to try to find a thing where that's a good combination of the things that you're inherently good at, but you also like doing. Um, and
reading is a super fast shortcut to figure out where are you both good at it, you like doing it, and it will actually have positive impact.
well, you got to learn about things somehow. So reading a broad range, just really read it. At one point when I was a kid, I read through the encyclopedia, so that was pretty helpful. Um, and there are also things I didn't even know existed. Well, lots, obviously.
It's
And
like as broad as it gets.
encyclopedias were digestible, I think, whatever, 40 years ago. Um, so, um, maybe read through the condensed version of the Encyclopedia Britannica. I'd recommend that. You can always like skip subjects, so you read a few paragraphs and you know you're not interested, just jump to the next one. So read the encyclopedia or skim through it. Um, And but I put a lot of stock and certainly have a lot of respect for someone who puts in an honest day's work to do useful things, and just generally to have like not a zero sum mindset, or a like have more of a grow the pie mindset. Like the if you sort of say like when we see people like perhaps I feel like some very smart people kind of taking an attitude of like doing things that seem like morally questionable. It's often because they have at a base sort of axiomatic level a zero sum mindset, and they, without realizing it, they don't realize they have a zero sum mindset, or at least they don't realize it consciously. And so if you have a zero sum mindset, then the only way to get ahead is by taking things from others. If it's like if the pie is fixed, then the only way to have more pie is to take someone else's pie. But this is false. Like obviously the pie has grown dramatically over time, the economic pie. So in reality, you can have the so overuse this analogy. We can have a lot of there's a lot of pie.
Yeah.
Pie is not fixed.
Yes.
So you really want to make sure you're not operating without realizing it from a zero sum mindset, where the only way to get ahead is to take things from others. Then that's going to result in you trying to take things from others, which is not good. It's much better to work on adding to the economic pie. Maybe so creating, like I said, creating more than you consume, doing more than you. Yeah. So that's a big deal. I think there's like a fair number of people in finance that do have a bit of a zero sum mindset.
I mean, it's all walks of life. I've seen that. One of the reasons Rogan inspires me is he celebrates others a lot. There's not creating a constant competition. Like there's a scarcity of resources. What happens when you celebrate others and you promote others, the ideas of others, it actually grows that pie. I mean, every like the resources become less scarce.
Mm-hmm.
And that applies in a lot of kinds of domains. It applies in academia, where a lot of people are very see some funding for academic research is zero sum, and it is not. If you celebrate each other, if you get everybody to be excited about AI, about physics, about mathematics, I think there'll be more and more funding, and I think everybody wins. Yeah, that applies, I think, broadly. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.